I'm Theron Ramacharaka, and I feel amused. Let me tell you why. You may be familiar with my true account here of a so-called paranormal or supernatural experience, the one I call something about, hang on, what is it? Ah, yes, dangerous black smoke entity confrontation, caution, troubling. And now I've added, see description. In the description, it says, the thumbnail picture is, the three shown hats are those of which I speak in the video that Mike, Jimmy, and I made that New Year's Eve, 1983 to 1984. Mike's is on the left, Jimmy's is on the right. I don't have them anymore. Rest in peace is for Mike, Jimmy, and the entity itself. All right. The event must get told by me and known by others. Let the truth live on. It's a horrible thing, the account. It's all true. If you're familiar with it, good. If you're not, have a look and a listen. Have a look here. Or hear-see. All right. So anyway, that story, if you're familiar with the history of it on YouTube, it was initially by me, written out just to tell the story. And I submitted it to another channel, a different channel, where it was narrated pretty well, in the style of the person who narrates on that channel. It's not, the author's narration. That would be me. You'll find that here on my channel. All right? Okay, so anyway, here's my point. That video over there in that other channel is still getting comments and replies to comments. And they usually show up in my notifications on a different channel that I have, not this one. My Tone Freak Base Experience channel, which is the channel from which I made my first comment as soon as that other guy on that other channel posted that video, narrated it, and published it to YouTube. I wrote, you nailed it. Thank you. Well, somebody just replied to me 3 days ago. There were basically two kinds of comments that come. Like, wow, that is really wild. Jeez. Oh my God. And the other kind are along the lines of, and you'll find me saying this very kind of thing here at the beginning of my narration of my story, my true account. That the other kind of comments have it that I'm schizophrenic, that I'm out of my mind, that I need another drink, that it's just a story, it's all made up, it's fake, giving reasons why it's fake. It either burns me up or it cracks me up, one or the other. Right now it's kind of cracking me up because somebody 3 days ago now, somebody with a female username said, yeah, it's just a story. Yeah, YA, it's just a story. So I replied, yeah, well, it's my story. From that other channel, Tone Freak Base Experience, I logged in over there. And I made a reply, yeah, well, it's my story. Have a look at it on my Theron Ramacharaka channel. Eye to eye with me on screen. Look at it there. Yeah. And, in this thumbnail here, there are the three hats that are talked about and described in the video. Right there they are. I'm looking at them. On the thumbnail it says, rest in peace. Now here's my point. It has to do with this channel's material. This kind of skepticism over new information, or information that just seems to be a little bit too outlandish to fit into your own narrow spectrum of life experience in this cosmos of phenomena. I mean, how arrogant of any human being to think that they've seen enough of this cosmos, enough of the manifested cosmos, to be able to judge whether something that stands a little outside their given experience to this point in their short little measly lifespan gives them the ability to judge bullshit from non-bullshit, or something that just couldn't happen. In this manifested cosmos in which, woo, pretty much anything and everything has happened already. Come on. Now listen, this kind of skepticism, like, I'm calling bullshit, I'm calling this one out, that's BS. All right, look, it's good to use the intellect, as I pointed out here recently in another video. One of the intellect's jobs is to let us know when our thinking is going in the wrong direction. But it's not going to lead us to any kind of great insightful truths in life. It's not the end all. It's part of the lower plane activity tied to this physical plane. The intellect is. It just happens to be the highest function we've got in this lower set of planes of ignorance and illusion. So it's not going to tell us one way or the other if something that stands outside of our experience is true or not. It'll let us know if something within our experience that we're thinking about, our thinking is going downhill, away from good reason. But if we allow it to get into blind skepticism, if we're just going to shut the doors on information that is new to us by calling it bullshit and then ignoring it, or being so arrogant as though some individual has a grip on wisdom, the bullshit detector thing, so that they will not allow in new information, and then say so, to the person who is providing that information. That is not only arrogant, it is extremely ignorant, and it blocks, that kind of doubt blocks the way to progress, to knowledge. So this pretentious claim to knowledge that involves, I don't believe that, I don't believe that, I don't believe that, I don't believe that, I'm not buying that, I'm not buying that, I'm passing by that, I'm passing by that, I doubt that, I have healthy skepticism. No, it's not healthy. It is the opposite of discriminative thinking. It is blank check denial of new information. Now I want to ask you this. If you are interested in the material on my channel, the main thrust of which is self-mastery and personal evolvement, in a world which involves many horrific, outlandish, and nearly unbelievable phenomena that we're up against on such a journey in life, having that kind of doubt over new information, well, you don't even belong here on this channel. The more you learn about how affairs actually operate and the kinds of things that actually take place, perhaps someday through your own experience, ought to lead you to understanding that unless you have good reason to doubt something, it's probably better to go ahead and accept it as tentatively true. that it might just be the actual case. Now, I understand one reason why people don't choose that. One is they're taught that doubting all new information is wise. Another one is they don't want to be made into a fool. They don't want to be thought of as gullible, as a sucker, as somebody who just swallows hook, line, and sinker every little bit of information that comes along that they don't already know or think they know. They don't want to think of themselves as being hoodwinked. But which is the worst hoodwinking if there's any hoodwinking involved? Denying new information into your life? Hoodwinking yourself right out of personal growth and expanding your knowledge base? Expanding your notion of what is possible and what might be probable? Or now and then happening to believe something that's not true, but you didn't know that. Just consider how scientific theorization works. Many theories are adopted that have been found to be false much later on. But they have been accepted as tentatively true for a good while until it's discovered that they are false. Now, what would it be like in this world in which we all worship science, don't we? If science were just filled with all this healthy skepticism that smartasses think that they have. Smartasses like the one who just made that comment. Was there anything in my story that stands out and says, oh, this is a lie? No. It's just not your usual kind of experience to be hearing about. That's why I put it on the internet. It's something people should know about. Do you think I would have put it there if I thought the majority of people were just going to call me a bullshit artist? Do I look like a bullshit artist? Do I sound like a bullshit artist? Do I act like a bullshit artist? Anybody who comes along with this just blanket notion of doubt and skepticism, with their bullshit radar sticking way out too far, like a rude protrusion, is a bullshit artist to themselves. What's my point here again? Be open-minded. It is not gullible and being a sucker to accept possibilities and new information that might not fit into your current conceptual framework. Until you can find really good evidence that some bit of information is untrue. I hope I've made the point. You want to move forward? You want to gain more knowledge? You want to gain more self-knowledge? You want to be more conscious than you currently are? Then you have to remain open and not just shut down new information because you haven't heard it before. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? Not just some, but a whole hell of a lot. What's so gullible in that? What's so being a sucker in that? Doing otherwise is being a sucker. being a sucker and buying right into doubt over things that could be very useful to you. I'm Theron Ramacharaka. Be well.